You know what? Since this is probably getting cut out, I had a joke I didn't get to say in the Smash thing when you guys were talking about Blieth. I just wanted to say, I'm pretty sure all this boils down to is that Ho's mad.
Don't fucking start with that shit.
God.
I feel like people don't get why that meme was funny in the first place.
I said hoes are mad.
Oh, I get it now. Thank you. And hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Seals.
This is Jade.
This is Fox.
And this is the Perfect Parry podcast. But this time, we have a fourth member. May I introduce Cullan?
What's poppin', gamers? Hi, I'm Cullan.
We saw him at the gas station, and then I tied him up and threw him in the trunk, and then forgot about him for 2 hours. But it's okay, we have a guest now.
His phone is, hooked up to the Bluetooth, so we can hear him, but, he's still in the trunk.
Yeah, it's cold.
This is how we're gonna have all of our guests.
No, only Cullan.
Only Cullan.
Only Cullan.
Now, the weird part is, and Jade, I'm not judging you, but in this trunk here, you do have an absurd amount of Love Live figurines. And it's more the quantity that's upsetting me than anything else.
Not enough. Not enough.
It's kind of at a point. I'm just saying it's more Love Live than Car at this point.
God damn it.
This car runs on Love Live.
But yeah, Cullan, do you want to tell everyone who you are? Introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Cullan. I'm someone who knows Ryan and was always like, oh, Ryan's my cool friend who has a lot of subscribers. And then I made one video and it got a lot of views, and now I have more subscribers than Ryan, and so I'm more powerful than him now.
It's true.
Just dig that
He could kill
knife.
me at any time, legally, without consequence.
Exactly, and I will never make another video.
That's how the YouTube game works. We all live in fear of Fox every day.
That's only that reason.
You see, Fox being in a fursuit already makes him, his power levels are off the charts.
I'm just not even going to dignify that with a response.
I mean, there's nothing more
Goddamn.
powerful than a furry that you've given even more power to, that you've given
It's
the right to
true.
kill with.
Oh,
A
God.
YouTuber furry? Can God defeat that? I don't think so.
There's
God-
no
God-
difference. There's no functional difference between that and God, so the point is kind of moot.
Either Fox is a god or could kill God, and I do not care if there's a difference.
Does God hide away because he is also scared of his own creations?
His creations are furries. Okay. So, Cullan,
Yes.
what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, specifically with the mod Pixelmon, which puts Pokemon in Minecraft. It's neat and cool, and I like it. Full stop.
Sounds dorky.
You're
Oh yeah, I've been watching Cullen's streams. He made this several tier tree farm, like an apricorn farm. I didn't even know you could make tiered farms underground.
Yeah,
But apparently that's a thing you can do.
You should be able to. I mean, it's all based on... Growth is based on light source, right?
It makes
Yeah.
sense, but I never would have occurred to me naturally, in my brain space, to be what if I just made layered hell of farming?
it's just something that comes to basically to us gamers. It's a special skill we have. You wouldn't really understand it, I know.
Oh, you elite gamers?
Exactly.
Okay, this is already exhausting. It's been 5 minutes. But yeah, how's that compared to vanilla Minecraft? Are you... Is it, a substantial improvement?
I mean, I love vanilla Minecraft. It's just sometimes you need a change, and it's kind of like you're playing two games in one. It's like you're playing Minecraft, and you also have Pokemon open on your DS in the background, because at any point, if you get bored of one of the games, you can just switch to the other aspect. So if you're building a house and you're like, this is boring, you can just straight up turn around and start training your Pokemon, and vice versa. So it's nice to have that kind of versatility when it comes to the game of you can just kind of switch gears really fast and not get burnt out and play for... I mean, the other day I streamed for about 7 hours, so it's a fun
that's
game when
cool.
you can do that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Freaking, yeah, no, I'll have to try that sometime and lament my life choices.
Yeah, whenever Ryan and I play Minecraft together, Ryan becomes a fucking serial killer.
Oh, I'm a monster. I don't even know, but, like, Minecraft has this special ability to, like, flip a switch in me, where I will just do the most elaborate, unnecessarily, like, intricate bullshit that I can, and I have no idea why. I have no artistic chops anywhere else, but that's where I get, like, really picky.
Yeah, like, I'll just make, like, a quaint little cottage and a strip mine, and then I'll come out of my house, like, an hour in and be like, hey, what you building? There's already a castle.
In the sky, usually.
You said that Minecraft brings out a side of you that makes you put way too much effort into minute details, and you're acting like that's not also just your YouTube channel?
Yeah, that's valid. It's weird the ways our, like, the smaller personality traits can manifest, like, in the bullshit we engage with. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's very cool. So, Fox, what have you been playing?
So very niche game. Not a lot of people talking about
go.
it, but it's getting a lot of buzz right now. I've been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. Do you guys know what Fire Emblem is? Have you guys heard about this?
Is that the one with all the polyamorous colored hair people?
Yes.
All
So
right.
so Cullan is aware of what Fire Emblem
Body
is.
pillow simulator?
Yeah.
Smash Ruiner.
Shut up!
So I bring this up because I was playing it a little bit earlier today, and but I also very much brought this up just because it's relevant. God fucking damn it! Just another Fire Emblem character.
Another one.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I on Twitter I was fucking hot shit posting quite a bit beforehand. I even made the joke of like, oh man, they really botched this Dante announcement. They didn't even get his name right. And even beforehand, I was like, okay, it's probably not going to be Dante. But because Twitter kind of removes the ability to sound sarcastic, a lot of people thought I was being very genuine when they announced the style switching addition to DMC for the Switch, DMC3 for the Switch.
Yeah.
And I jokingly said, oh, it's really cool that they announced this right before Dante gets added. Like, they're really spoiling us. And a lot of people thought I was being, like, very genuine about it. And it's just me just being a shithead. So, and the entire lead up to the DLC announcement, I was just, like, jokingly being like, oh, fucking Dante, it's fucking Dante.
Yeah.
Dante's coming. And then I messaged you. I was like, I kind of hope it isn't, because that would be funny.
We had
to
a whole
respond to.
discussion where we were just like, okay, it would be really cool if we got Dante, but we both kind of really hoped Dante wouldn't get in so that we could do the memes. And I can definitely say, for my part, that paid off in fucking spades.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you got a very, very popular meme.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, I had a May blow up right now. At time of recording, it just broke like 50,000 likes. So that's fun. And it's basically what I'm probably going to open up this podcast with, honestly.
And we'll be talking about that a little bit in a little bit. But the one thing we talked about when we were saying like, oh man, like kind of hope it isn't Dante because that'd be funny, is the one character where you're both like, okay, hopefully it's not, is like, hopefully it's not Fire Emblem Three Houses character.
We said Bailiff.
Literally,
We specifically said Bailiff because that was like the... Edelgard would have been so much better. Edelgard would have been so much better. I don't even really like Edelgard.
That's how you fucking pronounce those names?
Is it?
I don't know.
yeah.
Edelgard?
Edelgard? Edel? I don't know. I haven't played the game. I'm basing this on spelling.
You didn't watch the Smash announcement because I'm pretty sure Sakurai makes a point of going, this is how you pronounce these words.
Oh no! As soon as Bailiff got announced, I screen capped it, used that for my meme, and stopped watching the stream. I checked the fuck out.
I've just been saying Bieth.
You see, like,
Yeah.
I liked Three Houses, but my problem with it is that they lampshaded the too many Fire Emblem swordsman problem by saying, oh, well, we're just gonna lampshade it, and then, like,
well, the thing is
one
she's
or
not,
two moves
she's not a
doesn't-
swordsman. She's not a swordsman. I will say that. Not really. Not
Yeah.
based on what I've seen. And like, I get the frustration, and this is where I probably should like throw an asterisk here, is I'm not actually upset that Baelith got in. I think it's fairly
same.
well earned.
I
think it makes
I wanted
sense.
to make that same.
It's just also we shouldn't even have to explain why we're kind of disappointed by it, though. You know.
Well,
But that's the thing is if you don't make that like specification of like, you know, I'm the same way. I love Three Houses. That was like my second favorite game last
like
year,
that was
and
last
it
podcast.
came really close to DMC5. Like I put hundreds and hundreds of hours into Three Houses. Like I did all the routes. I fucking love that game. It's one of my favorite Fire Emblem games. But at the end of the day, it's just like that's a disappointing pick because it's like when there's the new Smash announcements, now it's like, oh, you know, which new character, which new series are they gonna like touch on? Because now it's become what's it called? It's become like Video Game Hall of Fame. Is like who's gonna get inducted next?
Yeah.
So when you get another Fire Emblem character, it's like of all the like other series that
9
could
now?
get representation.
9.
Nine if you can count Echo Fighters.
Which you definitely should,
so it's
because
like-
all of the Echo Fighters are extremely different. I don't know why they're
Yeah.
considered the same.
And it's like when you do the math, it's like they take up like more than 10% of the roster, which is like a fucking lot. And there's always going to be the people there. Like I got them a bunch of my mentions. I'm sure in your fucking mentions with that post.
I already
fucking
know
nightmare.
exactly what you're going to fucking say.
There's so many people going, oh well, like what about the amount of Mario characters and Pokemon
If
characters?
you
I was
can't
like,
tell the
one,
difference between Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, and Fire Emblem, you don't know video games. You are living in a bubble.
Not even that. People are acting very weird about. I don't even know what the term is, but it's a weird thing where it's like, oh, you're okay with the amount of Mario and Pokemon, or like, oh well, there's 3 Links, and it's like, yeah, if they announced another Link, I'd probably be also disappointed. Like, I don't know why that's mutually exclusive. Like, outside of Waluigi being a funny meme, like if they announced another Mario character, I would also be like, wow, that's kind of a lame announcement to end your like first season of DLC characters on. I don't know why like Fire Emblem stands are getting really like pissy and be like, oh, you're okay with all the Mario characters. It's like, no, I'd also probably be disappointed with that too. But like Fire Emblem is just already so heavily covered in this series. Like I just don't really feel there's a need for another one, despite loving Three Houses. Like I'm glad it's getting that love. Like I'm not going to complain about that. I'm excited for the new DLC. They announced it with this DLC announcement, but just I don't need another one. Just I'm not even like you're saying. I'm not upset. It just
I'd say the biggest kind of problem with it is the placement of like where she was announced. I don't know why they would save her as the last one. Because like if the last one was like Terry or Banjo, I don't think anyone would like. We would kind of accept that. Okay, yeah, Fire Emblem character. Not what we were hoping for, but fine. If that was like the second or third one, it would have been a much easier pill to swallow. But it's the last one for the Fighter's Pass. It's like, dude, come on.
There is the caveat that there is 6 more coming, but it's still the end of the first season, so it's still the like kind of a lame way to end off on that note. But it's still like, there's 6 more, I guess. Like, you know, that's at least like a caveat to it. Also, I know Ryan kind of tuned out. I tuned out and then I came back like near the end. Jade or Cullan, did you watch the end of it?
Oh God, no!
Like the end of the
because
direct.
like I didn't even come to the news until after the fact because I knew it was gonna be a tire fire and I didn't want to wake up early. Yeah, that and like
That's entirely fair.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to fill us in.
Yeah. So they do the announcement. There's like, okay, here's Byleth, and after the like, you know, the reveal, God bless Sakurai. He did the thing he did with the KOF where he's like, oh, what's KOF? What's Fire Emblem? Like, you know, you might be asking, and it's like, Sakurai, you don't know, you don't need to fucking tell people what Fire Emblem is. I know you love this series so much, and you just want to tell people how cool it is, but like, you literally, Smash is the progenitor to what got Fire Emblem popular in the States. You don't need to fucking explain it at all.
Sakurai, you won. The war is over.
Yeah,
you can come home.
But anyway, so he does that. He does his little like, oh, here's the history of the series, and then he does the, what's it called, the look at how Baelith plays. And to be fair, they do look fun. You know, I'm not gonna say like, oh fuck, this sucks. Like, they look fun enough to play. but then it goes, oh, here's the Mii costumes for this, like, you know, patch. And I swear to God, every fucking cut to black when it's like doing the like Smash Cross, you know, series title, I had a little mini heart attack of like, oh, if this is where they put the fucking DMC shit, I'm gonna fucking have a heart attack.
If we get a
that would be
Dante
so
meme,
fucking hurt.
Fucking.
But it was Assassin's Creed, so there's a Mii costume for the first character. Yes, Altair. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's, you know, fair enough. There's one for Mega Man X, one for Mega Man Battle Network. And then, interestingly, it's funny that people are like, oh, that's actually really fucking rad, is Cuphead got a Mii.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit, like, this very indie thing is getting put into Smash, even as a Mii costume.
Toho
That's
when.
fucking cool. Yeah, exactly, right? I cannot imagine that, like, Toho wouldn't get it at
genuinely,
some point. I genuinely think they will.
I will 100% accept a Cave Story Mii skin. I would kill for that. I would probably start maining Mii Gunner, honestly. If I could be Quote or Curly Brace.
Mii costumes are a really nice place to put the hyper niche characters that don't have a lot to do, like, because what's his name, Mugman wouldn't have, or Mugman or Cuphead don't have a lot for a moveset.
Yeah.
So putting them as a Mii fighter works super well, because it's like, oh, you just slap that on as the Gunner skin, perfect.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. And they even add a remixed version of one of the songs. It's like, great, that's awesome. Like, good on what is it? What's the studio? I almost said MGR, but that's not it.
It's some series of letters.
Yeah, some
It's
series
like
of letters,
Studio
but good,
MS
good on them.
RK
That's
or something.
fucking rad for them to get included into Smash like that. That's fucking great.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, every time there was like the cut to black, I was like, oh my god, please not this way. And then it ended, and I was like, okay, thank God. And there's a lot of people that I've seen that are like, kind of don't get it, that are like, well, Mii costumes don't mean that that's like deconfirmed. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean they're gonna like.
It means it's pretty deconfirmed.
Yeah, they're not gonna go,
pretty
here's a Mii
deconfirmed.
costume, and then 2 passes later go, oh, okay, here's the actual character. That'd be a very weird approach to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our quick rant about it. In terms of summary, Fire Emblem Three Houses is a really good game, because I've been replaying it a little bit, and yeah, that fucking game is rad as hell. I'd argue it's one of the best Fire Emblem games. Like, I don't know how controversial that is for Fire Emblem fans.
It seems to be pretty non-controversial. I mean, of course, you've got the people, but like you always have the people.
But yeah, Ryan, what have you been playing?
Good question. Before this, I was playing Final Fantasy Tactics, and like, I can tell it's a good game. I can tell I'm probably going to like it as I get into the motion of it, but I'm only a couple battles in so far. I haven't gotten to the fun stuff yet, and not going to lie, it's feeling kind of clunky right now. It's feeling really clunky. The camera especially is one of the worst cameras I've ever seen, I think, in anything. Like,
It definitely has that PS1 era feel to it.
well, I'm playing the PSP port, so it's kind of more inexcusable.
Yeah, but even then, it's still even then it is still, you know, it's a port at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're not gonna revamp it entirely. It's still the same game. It's still gonna have the same, you know, aged systems to it. Because I replayed it a while back too, and I 100% get what you're talking about, where it does feel a little clunky. It's their first time kind of doing that type of game, so it felt a little wonky, but it's, you know, that said, it's still a good game. It's fucking one of the, like, what would you call it, like one of the archetypes of that genre.
Yeah, no, it's like,
Not archetypes, but it's like when you look at like the best tactics RPGs, it's up there.
yeah, like, I'm sure I'll like it eventually. It seems good. There's good premises there, and I can see the mechanics lying underneath, but like, first impression, its age shows hard and aggressive. But yeah, what was it?
Because this is 97, 98, so yeah, it's 2 decades old at this point.
Yeah, like, it feels like it almost needs like a third remake at this point. But yeah,
like controversial opinion. I kind of prefer Tactics Advanced because I think that's when they really hit their stride with how the Tactics games works. But
I
for some
haven't
people,
played
that's
too
a little
much of
controversial.
Tactics Advance. I only played like only like the first couple levels. I don't know. This has been my problem with all of the tactics games is they like all bounce off of me the second I try and like get into them, just because like I'm so used to like Fire Emblem, which tends to be much quicker paced, much cleaner. Like, so like I don't know. Like I'm still going to commit to it. This is not me giving my final opinion on it at all. But like, it's.
I feel this would be comparatively like you playing like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2 Remake, 7, and then going back to 1.
Like OG 1, like PS1.
Yeah, you're going
or
like
DS,
back to like one of the
DS
OGs.
port.
Yeah, because this kind of came out after like Ogre Battle and Tactics Ogre, so it wasn't the first Tactics game, but it's definitely like of the era when it was still fairly new type of genre that they were still kind of figuring out, especially with like class systems and whatnot. So it's like if you're gonna compare it to like modern tactic style games, it's like yeah, you're probably gonna feel that age quite a bit comparatively, but it's still also kind of cool to look back and go, oh, look at how far we've come with this kind of genre.
Yeah. Freaking but yeah. I've also been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, which everyone here should play.
No.
I
Yes.
was actually. Oh. Anyway, that's actually what I've been playing somewhat. I had to get back into it. I got kind of distracted with like other shit, but I finally got around to playing goddamn Final Fantasy 14. And I know we've already, specifically Ryan's already talked about it a lot, potentially too much,
Yes.
forever. But something that he didn't mention that I feel like kind of needs to be mentioned is that everybody told me that, oh yeah, just get to Stormblood. Just get, or not Stormblood, just get to Heavensward, and then it'll be worth it. And then it'll be worth it. That's when the writing gets really good, and then Shadowbringers, that's when the writing is like nuclear good. But when I entered the game, the writing was already good.
Yeah, no,
it was already fine.
It's good to
Like,
begin with. It's good all the way through. It's just, it's the difference between like, it's the difference between like a fun but simple like adventure story.
Well, I don't even think it's basic either. Like, I hopped into this game and it was already about refugees and like the suffering that they went
like there's
through.
definitely layers to it. But that's mainly a lot of that stuff I'm going to tell you right now is like setting like detail more than anything, and doesn't play into the main plot too much most of the time, at least not until later, you know. They're setting up a lot of story threads, and that's what's really impressive about Realm Reborn, but Realm Reborn's story itself, like, it's good. It's not bad. It's just, again, it's like, it's like comparing, like, frickin' the steak you find at Chipotle to what you would get if you spent $100 at a high-class restaurant. Cullan, play it.
Oh.
No. I don't have the time or the motivation, and also just it's really hard for me to get into games like that, and by games like that,
Jade, pressure him.
I stop.
No, I'm not gonna pressure him because like I am. It is really hard to get into, and if there's something I have to critique about it, so I've been having to play it on the PS4. I used to play a lot of MMOs with my family. I was usually DPS, and then my mom would be like a healer, and then my dad would be tank. It was like a whole thing. We were like a family unit. This is the first MMO I've ever played, not only not on a computer, but without them. So I do feel lost a lot of the time. I'm constantly getting lost. Always. I never know where I'm fucking
The
going.
towns are very complex.
Shut the fucking maps. And then, like, I also really get anxious playing with strangers and going into dungeons with strangers because it's like, oh god, I'm gonna let them all down and all these strangers are gonna hate me. I don't want to do this. And oh god, I gotta keep you all alive. So I get it. I get not being into it. Some days I just can't play it. Though I will say, My character is fucking adorable. I'm playing a little Lalafell. I keep getting Mike Wazowski'd by the dialogue box. It's great.
It looks like you.
Bitch!
What was it? Just keep casting Sucker, like when you're in dungeon. Just keep casting that. You need one move if you're healing. That's it. You're good.
Hey, remember when you tanked for me and we almost wiped, except I clutch revved you?
Happens once.
Listen, I'm just saying, it's harder than it fucking looks.
Man, these lamos, am I right, Cullen? With their nerd game.
Dumb dorks. As they're saying spells, it feels like I'm a Spanish speaker listening to an Italian speaker, and it's like I know most of these words.
I just don't know if it's being organized weird, and yeah.
Like there's some new ones thrown in there that definitely don't mean anything, and you're just saying them, and it's bouncing off my ear walls.
Colin, who do you want in Smash?
I don't think that's the topic we were gonna go with at all today.
No, it isn't. Here, because I got a good answer for this. Shower.
Hilarious and original.
God.
I mean, I don't play Smash, so I guess I would just want what my friends want in. So someone like Dante or Waluigi, something that would make the fans happy. Because also, first and foremost, it's a product that they're trying to sell, so they should put in what the consumers want, because then the consumers will buy it. So who knows?
You know what? The real reason I'm mad about fucking Byleth is that the final Smash isn't like a first-person POV shot of you being able to woo various characters over tea. Like, the fact that I can't have that with Luigi just proves to me that they put absolutely no fucking thought into this.
Well, this is what I've been saying for years, is that Smash Brothers needs more seduction.
Smash Bros should be
Finally,
sexy.
someone fucking understands. It needs to be sexy!
So add Waluigi.
This children's party game needs more sex.
I mean, they have Bayonetta in there already.
And
so...
Wario.
And Wario!
How do I disconnect from a call?
Okay, we should probably get to the actual topic.
30 minutes in.
Christ. Yeah, no, that's how the shit goes.
Hey, people just want to hear us talk.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Cause we're the coolest cats in town, Daddy-o.
Everybody, if you just want to unsubscribe now, like, no hard feelings. Like, absolutely none.
Unsubscribe from Foxcade.
Hey, guilty by omission. Guilty by just proxy is totally understandable.
Anyways, main topic today. Games we've played that we liked more because we played them well after release.
Cullen, do you want to start?
Sure. I made a list, and I have 4 games, and I will say them, and then whichever one tickles your fancy, whichever one gives you a gut feeling of, ooh, I like that, you can just go ahead and ask me a question. I will expand upon it. But 4 games that 3 of them I liked more because I played them after they came out, and then 1 game that I'm just happy I played after it came out, but not because I liked it more. So Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and then Zelda Ocarina of Time.
I need those Sonic opinions.
All right.
I need that in my life.
Okay, so, well, I think we can all admit Sonic had a little bit of a rocky transition from 2D to 3D.
Oh, I've watched this video before.
No, but...
I saw that, YouTube.
At the expense of sounding like a generic YouTuber, people were not a big fan of when Sonic went into the 3rd dimension, and that's pretty fair because it went from a very tight, controlling, colorful thing to, I don't know, they transitioned to...
Bad.
Well...
Bad.
Different. Let's go with different.
Different in how bad it was.
Well, okay, so... I'm glad I didn't play it when
Cullen going for the diplomatic route.
Okay, well, so I'm glad I didn't play it when it came out for 2 reasons. A, because when did Sonic Adventure come out? Sonic Adventure
1999.
That was on the Dreamcast.
That was 1999 or
Alright.
2000.
So,
it was a launch title for the Dreamcast. I actually have a oddly vivid memory that I know took place before the 2000 New Year of playing Sonic Adventure at a kiosk in a Toys R Us. So I know for a fact it came out in 1999, unless I'm wrong, in which case I'm just dumb.
So it was.
Yeah, you're right. September 9th, 1999, North America.
That's what's up,
Yeah.
Dad.
So 2 reasons I'm glad I played it after it came out was 1, I wasn't alive when it came out, so that would have been weird, and 2,
What a fucking rookie. That's a noob move.
shut up, Ryan. Anyway, also because the game has an undeniable charm to it, and I just absolutely, really, really fucking love playing it. Both for its like comedically bad funness, but also I just think it's a really endearing game, and I'm just glad that I wasn't there for everyone being like, "Well, it's ruined Sonic," because I might have disliked it if I were a Sonic fan and was like, "This is different than what I want."
Well, I will say, as someone who grew up with it, because like I grew up with Sonic, that was a big thing for me, and like, are we talking about Adventure 1 or 2?
yes.
Not that it really matters. Okay, if we're just kind of putting them together. I played basically both of those on release because, like, as a kid, I was super into Sonic. Like, I was incredibly, like, I was all over that.
That explains a lot.
Why does that make so much sense?
It does, but I feel like that's probably half the Devil May Cry or action game community, and none of us are brave enough to admit it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that's the only reason we're friends with Fox.
Also, yes.
Damn it.
Anyways, I played the shit out of Sonic CD, and I played the shit out of Sonic 3 and Knuckles growing up. I do not know how many times I replayed those. So when I got Sonic Adventure, the novelty of having 3D Sonic was more than enough to make up for it, especially since this was at a point in time where, like, 3D controls hadn't fully found, like, what they would become yet. Like, a good kind of counterexample of this, I think, is Crash Bandicoot, the original. Great game. Fantastic game. But if you replay it now, you'll notice that, like, it's 3D, but it's really only ever asking you to hold buttons in one direction. It's functioning off of the D-pad. It's not 3D in the way we would think of it, really, to speak of. You know? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of where the medium was at the time. Nowadays, I don't know how much that would fly if you were to design a full game like that, but it being what it is, it's fun. Likewise, it was very easy to forgive Sonic Adventure at the time because, like, there was no real, like, it should be this instead to, like, counterpoint it off of. The closest was, like, the Mario games, but even then the two were so different it was hard to compare. It wasn't really until Sonic Heroes that things started, like, that was the exact moment I know for me that I started to be like, this isn't good, like, this is not fun. And then, like, Sonic 06 came out and everyone was just like, oh, this was fucking a doomed enterprise from the beginning, oh no. But, like, I one thing I will say is, like, I don't necessarily hate Sonic Adventure 1 or 2. I think they're both fantastic games in their own way because, like, it's like what you mentioned. You talk about the tone and all of that, like, the world and the charisma. There's a lot of personality in those games, like, a lot. And a lot of the, more, like, what was it? A lot of stuff like the music and the art design, fucking stellar. Fantastic. There's a lot of things to love about those games. They just also happen to all control like complete ass.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. But also, like, most platformers kind of feel like complete ass. And also...
How?
Well...
dare you?
Anyway. But also, like, Sonic Adventure...
Most
Jack and Daxter.
A lot of 3D platformers, especially of that era.
Of that era, absolutely.
No, but I was also...
But you need to play Jack and Daxter.
I won't. Even if I say I do, I won't.
I hate you so much.
That's really fair.
You see, you're taking the wrong tactic, because do you want to know how I got Jen to read Homestuck? By telling her to not read Homestuck.
Cullan, don't send me $10,000.
Okay. Done. Jade, I don't think you understand how reverse psychology works correctly, but the effort is there.
Jade, this isn't good.
I'm sorry you suck at what I do.
Okay, you try.
Hey, Cullan.
Yeah, what's up?
If you do the thing and have different opinions from Ryan anyway, it'll destroy him, as he rightfully deserves. Not that you should do it, because they're terrible, but, you know,
Okay, but
there you go.
I see your point, but also let me raise you this: is that I know Ryan, and he will jokingly be like, "Fuck you for having different opinions," but I also know Ryan will respect the fact that I developed these opinions, whereas I can hurt him much more by saying the game sucks without ever playing it.
Touché.
I hate you so much.
Shadow Hearts? What's that?
Fuck you. God damn it. Everyone sucks but me. So, Colin, what about coming to it later made it more enjoyable? Just avoiding the, like, blowback?
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. Yeah, because, like, I don't really feel like there was blowback around, like, 2006 to, like, 2013-ish. I feel like things cooled down a good bit with Sonic Generations because that's an actual good Sonic game. And then
Forces just threw them right back off the cliff.
Forces is not that bad, especially given that, like, Lost World is right fucking there. Or not Lost World,
Boom.
Boom, duh. Sonic Boom. Yeah, that fucking piece of shit. Like, admittedly, I haven't beaten Forces. I've only played a couple levels of it, and, like, I do find it to be a decided step down from Generations so far, but, like, I don't know. I haven't found anything to hate about it yet.
I think it's just because also I played it after the, like, wave of Sonic hate came out, so it was just kind of like I was able to go back and play something that I've heard a lot about but never experienced myself, and just kind of have fun with it. And then also a good thing that came from the period I'm playing in it now is that I'm sure, as all three of you can attest to, especially you, Fox, is that being a furry is much more socially acceptable. So I feel like I don't.
Fucking goddamn it.
I feel. I feel a lot more comfortable. I don't feel comfortable, but I feel
The future is now.
yes. But my point is I feel I feel not alone in the fact that Rouge the Bat is just so hot. That's the thing.
Thick titty.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can say she's not hot, because, like, even...
Fox, what are your feelings on Rouge the Bat? Please explain in extreme detail.
Where's the disconnect button? Okay.
Okay.
I talked with Clumps about this is because he asked me the question of, are you a furry? And I think this is a very non-controversial take on the matter. Is there are certain characters in media where it's like, I think it's just a gimme. Like, you don't even have to be a furry to be like, oh, that's designed to be hot.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be a furry to think Lola Bunny is, like, sexy. Like, because the fucking
The
people
artist
who made them
definitely
went
does.
out of their way.
The artist definitely thinks Lola's sexy.
Yeah, like they're framed to be that way. So it's like the fact they gave Rouge the Bat like cleavage. It's like, you know, someone
what
on
they
that
were
design
doing.
team knew what they were doing. Like, let's not play games. So, so it's like I think Rouge the Bat is kind of like on the edge of that, like of characters that are like, you don't have to be furry to, like, you know, be down for this.
Yeah, because she's got the cartoonish proportions, but she's also, like, just got titty hanging out.
Yeah, compared to like every other character in that world.
Yeah, and also I do think it's a bit of a personality thing as well, whereas her character is written to be that sort of Catwoman-esque seductress criminal type.
Yeah.
The femme fatale.
Femme fatale.
Yeah. Also,
in Sonic X, they really
They lean
really
into
went
that.
there.
She has a lesbian girlfriend in Sonic X. I consider that canon.
oh, it's absolutely
Oh,
canon.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know, she is dating that police chief.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and it's got a very what's the
Homosexual.
what's the trope? It's the police officer. It's the police officer romancing with their
The sly
with the
camarita.
thief.
I was
Yeah,
just thinking
it's
Batman,
that.
Catwoman.
Me too,
Yeah,
Jay.
Batman,
Well,
Catwoman.
it's that classic trope of the, like, you know, the do-gooder at having a relationship with the, you know, the person they're chasing.
Yeah. Fucking... Also, Lupin the Third and his detective. I'm blanking on his name, but that counts.
Sure, whatever fan fiction you want to start writing.
There is chemistry there. No one can deny it.
Just to loop back a little bit before we move on from this topic, I would love to have one or even all three of you just kind of real quick rapid fire off some anthropomorphic characters that you don't think it's furry to want to bone, and also do explain that you want to bone them, please, into the microphone, clearly if possible.
I'd say the furthest along the furry chart, that without surpassing it, I think, where it's still like completely reasonable and like almost expected, is fucking Renamon.
Is that
I feel like
That's-
Renamon counts as furry.
is that the Digimon?
Renamon
That's
definitely
yeah.
counts as
That's I
furry.
feel cross. That's crossing the
Is
line.
that
Yeah.
the Digimon one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you fucking furry.
I feel like the one I should have a pass for. I feel like I rightfully deserve a pass for wanting to fuck Prince Sidon from Breath of the Wild.
Okay, yeah.
Because
No.
he is 9 feet tall and huge and also nice to me, which is the only qualifications for a good man.
Yeah.
Which is the ability to bench press me, break me in half, and then call me nice things afterward.
That's what's up.
That's not furry, that's just being right.
Yeah.
Dabs.
Shut the fuck up.
I get a lot of shit for really liking and maining Felicia and Darkstalkers, and I don't think that's fair.
Like, it's not fair, but at the same time, I feel like you kind of invite it with your branding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, am I allowed to like this? Like, can I like this and not be judged?
And the answer's no.
No. There was something else recently that I was like, am I allowed to like this and not get like called out for it? Oh, I can't remember what it was. There was something very recently that I was watching that I was like,
Beastars?
I want to talk
There
about
it
this. Yes, it was Beastars. Yeah, I think I said that. I think I said it on Twitter. I was like, am I allowed to like make a video about why Beastars is fucking
You
rad
can.
without getting called out?
You'll just
And he-
never hear the end of it.
And even like Eye Patch Wolf, who has like the same exact branding problem, he's like, no, like it's just no.
Don't.
And I think
mean,
I
Like,
can't remember. I've
Lugosi's
never.
pretty cute.
Everybody says that, but like I don't know. I think he's just a nice boy. Just
Oh,
a
is he
very
like
nice
your
boy.
Good boy.
Sunfu? Like,
Yes. Honestly, I just like he's like just a nice character. Like it's not even like oh like I think it's weird when people like hyper sexualize him because I'm just like not really. Like I think it's just a very odd thing, especially because of how much the show emphasizes that he's a teenager, like going through like coming of age. Not that I would judge anybody like oh that's fucking gross, but it's more just like like they're kind of very heavily coded as teenagers, like.
Yeah.
Kind of odd, but okay, whatever gets people's jollies off, that's their business.
I call that persona
because the series
syndrome.
is very, and it also has the like extra problem of the show is a lot about sex. Like it's very much about like sexual maturity. So it's like yeah, you can't even escape the furry thing because the show doesn't let you.
Yeah, you can't watch that scene with Haru and not come out of that unscathed.
Oh yeah, literally, it's like let's go hang out at a love hotel. It's like, well, I guess this is what we're in for.
Goddamn. But yeah, should probably bring this back around.
Yeah.
Jade, what's a game you played that you like
Okay.
were happy you played it well after release?
So, the Metal Gear series
Oh.
started in the early 90s when I was like baby-ish, but like a lot of the more famous games came out in the early 2000s, which I could have, in theory, played. I didn't touch it until like my second year of college, I think 2015.
Yeah,
that
something
sounds
like
right.
that.
It was around the time 5 was coming out.
Yeah.
But specifically, I really like coming to it once I like was older and more mature and actually had a grasp on what my own politics were and like how politics worked, because you know just the content of those games and what they're actually about is very heavily reliant on someone's prior understanding of politics and war.
And postmodernism.
And postmodernism.
Yeah.
But
Jade, I actually, not even lying, I was actually going to bring up specifically Metal Gear 2 for this exact same reason.
Fucking,
oh my god.
I love 2 so much.
So,
Yeah,
but
no
I'll let
joke.
I'll let you go on.
How crazy is it that like 2 and like fucking even Revengeance just predicted the future? How fucking wild is that shit?
It's honestly, like, I don't want to oversell it because it's by no means 1-to-1 or something, but, like, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 and Revengeance have some shit in it where it's like, oof.
Ooh, this is touching
this is-
way too close to home.
This is too fucking, oh god, Metal Gear Solid 2 is about misinformation and fucking mass population control through digital, like, lies.
Ruh-roh.
Oh god.
Well, and Ryan, I DM'd you like a little not even, it was like a little jot note I did in my notes for a Rising video. It's like Armstrong is like the physical embodiment of Pole.
No,
like
he
the
fucking
Pole Wars. Where he's
but-
like
Well, that
everybody
was
should
even-
be
that
allowed.
was even, like, the
Everyone
joke
should be
when the
allowed
game
to
came
fight their
out.
own wars.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is that coming into it, like, first off, I really do appreciate these games. I think there's a lot of merit to them. But specifically why I'm glad I came to them later isn't just so that I could better understand what they were actually about. But I know that, like, if I had gotten to them in high school, it would have just completely ruined my experience. You ever, like, you remember in high school where, like, in your group of nerd friends that you're more obligated to see rather than like actually like as people, in your group of nerd friends there's that one guy who like thinks he's really fucking deep and convinces you to like listen to all of his dad rock classics because he thinks that's the pinnacle of music and
I was that
anybody
dude in
else
high
is
school.
Why you
sucked
why you
ass.
Yeah.
just why you just subtweeting Hideo Kojima like this?
no, just hear me out here. So he's just like, you think of that guy who's just like, yeah, Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. If you don't like it, or if you like any like pop music at all, then you're like shit and you're dumb. And then you go and then like you
this
want
shallow
him.
pop music.
Yeah, and then you're like a dumb 15-year-old, so you listen to him, and then you go and listen to Stairway to Heaven, and it fucking sucks, and
Hey.
that's just ruined for you forever. And then you never want to touch, like, classic dad rock again, even if there are, like, some legitimately good, like, acts in there. And that's what would have happened with fucking Metal Gear with me if I had went and played it in high school.
It does have a fan base sometimes.
Not a good one.
Like,
Well,
I
that's-
remember that growing up is like, I remember even because like I didn't really get into the Metal Gear games until like I was in college, and like they're like they have a tendency to attract people who like get very elitist about the fact that they enjoy them and what they are and what they represent. The dog is scratching at the door trying to break in.
Let it in.
She
I
stopped
think
now.
she stopped. No, she's awful.
No, she's a monster.
She's gonna lay down on top of my keyboard.
She
Good.
will just fucking like kick down the mic, fucking steal my computer, just
Comedy gold.
hijack my
Podcast.
Twitter account.
Podcast
Terrible,
gold.
terrible dog. But yeah, what the fuck were we talking about?
The fan base.
Metal Gear
Right.
fan base.
I actually
base.
get what you're saying, Ryan, because I think it is the idea that like Metal Gear, specifically Solid, that came out like mid '90s. I don't know the exact
That was
specific date.
98, I want to say.
98.
sounds
Yeah,
right.
yeah, because
Feels like
2
it
came
came
out
out-
because 2 was on the PS2. That was
But
the
it
first
came
game on
out
the PS2.
after Final Fantasy VII.
Yes. But it was one of, not the first, but it was one of the first big AAA games to talk about very heavy political themes. And it wasn't even thematic like FF7. Because FF7 you can kind of enjoy, you know, doing the whole removing politics thing if you just want to play like a fun little game about stopping this corrupt company that's destroying the earth. You can if you want to play it
You
blind.
can just accept the abstraction.
Exactly. But with Metal Gear, you can't. Like, you absolutely can't, because it's
It's
constantly
very in your
talking about
face.
American politics, how it engages with the world. You absolutely can't. And I think that's why a lot of people got really into it from the start, is because it's like, oh shit, like this very mature game talking about mature topics. So people getting into it very early on, like you were saying, kind of get a little bit elitist about it, of like, oh, well, like I play Metal Gear and all these very smart and weighty topics, you know? And yeah, it just unfortunately kind of breeds that attitude. Not saying every person that enjoys the games and their themes are like that, but you do get a little bit more of that than any other franchise from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, especially with kind of games that are, for lack of a better term, no, I don't want to go from that angle. But you know, especially considering that, like, even the Metal Gear games, I feel like aren't as, for lack of a better term, deep TM, are deeper than most. Like, even 4, which I had problems with, like, goes into specifically the profit of war pretty on the nose.
Yeah, like all of the Metal Gear games, like, have a lot of substance to them. Like, they've all definitely got, like, a lot of moving parts that make them very interesting to, like, examine and pick apart. It's just one of those things, though. It's like Fox said, where it's like, because it is kind of so on the nose, it attracts a certain kind of person sometimes, especially given the point in time it was released, you know? It was so, like, in your face compared to basically anything else on the market that made it smart and important.
It attracts that one guy who reads, like, Dune before anybody else in your class and thinks he's, like, the top shit.
Reads House of Leaves once.
Isn't that you?
I love House of Leaves. I'm not bad-mouthing House of Leaves. But like, I've also met some dudes who've read House of Leaves who really integrate that into part of their personality.
Especially because, okay, so I also have a thing where, like, for the same reason why, like, I'm only now getting into war movies in my, like, terrible film degree shit, like, I kind of avoided them to avoid this exact crowd. Especially because I feel like a lot of people who got into Metal Gear at the time Metal Gear was coming out were into it not for what the games had to say, but because they were war games.
Oh, there were
like,
definitely
oh, yeah.
a lot of people who, like, completely missed the message. I remember people talking about, like, how cool and badass Snake was, and, like, didn't
like,
hear shit about anti-war or anti-nuke.
Hey, my name's Michael, and I'm gonna spout at you World War II facts about tanks for 2 hours, and I'm not gonna let you say a word. Anyway, I played Metal Gear.
It's actually good that you bring that up, because that's why I was going to mention 2 specifically, because that's why I'm glad I kind of came at 2 after it came out, because 2 was really controversial when it first came out, because famously it had the protagonist shift from Solid Snake to Raiden. And a lot of people didn't get a lot of the messages about what 2 is, and kind of just got very caught up in the, like, they lied to us in the trailers. This isn't Solid Snake. This is a whiny guy with white hair. Like, what is this? What is this, Kojima?
Dude, I'm so glad I wasn't, like, in the games industry at that point, like, in any way, because I would have been so fucking mad.
Oh yeah, because I was looking into it recently, because I was like, I rewatched all of, like, the cutscenes with 2, just because I don't have time to, like, replay the entire thing, and I was like, man, like, this game is so fucking good, and it's got so many, like, interesting themes, like we were saying, like, very relevant to today especially. And it's just like, man, you just know there's a lot of people that just entirely miss the point. I know it's really smug to go, you just didn't get it, but a lot of people just flat out didn't get it. Like,
yeah,
just
no,
flat
like,
out missed the point.
I hate pulling out that card. I really do, because it's there's no way to pull it out without being condescending in some way. But the fact of the matter is like, without passing a value judgment, Hideo Kojima released a game with a lot of really intricate postmodern themes that deconstructed a lot of very big ideas, and he handed that to an audience of 14 to 16-year-olds. Because,
yeah,
like, I know I played it when I was 12, and I had no fucking clue what happened.
Yeah, it was just a lot of very angry people that didn't get to play the cool man with the bandana and the gun. and that's all they kind of were caught up on. And to be fair, it does kind of pull the rug out from under you. So I do sympathize with why people were caught up on that, and because a lot of the messaging about what that kind of means doesn't come in till later, so you do have to kind of commit to the game and what it's doing. And also, you know, just to be fairly critical, the dialogue is sometimes very overly
Dense.
layered. Yeah, it's very dense, but also just like it kind of complicates itself more than it needs to in a way, because there's some cutscenes that last like 30 minutes. Like, it's like, holy shit, Kojima, like fucking wrap it up.
It's still not as bad as 4 though, about its cutscenes.
Oh, 4 is probably the worst.
I'm actually one of the bigger defenders of 4, all things considered, but like, woof, holy fuck, dude. I don't know how you can play that game without having a bottle of cola around. Like, that's honestly, I found the best way to play that game is like get 1 or 2 other people in the room with you, order a fucking pizza, get some soda, and just treat it like the world's longest movie.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good way to play it. But yeah, I'm very glad that I came to 2 after the fact, because I know if I played that when I was younger, I probably would have been on the same board as a lot of those teenagers that got upset about the character change.
Yeah.
I probably would have been just right in there. I'm not even going to pretend that I wouldn't be.
Yeah, same. It's easy to get suckered into that stuff when you're, like, you know, a kid.
Yeah. So Ryan, I think you're the only one who hasn't mentioned a game. What's your pick?
The 2 for me that immediately come to mind are oddly from the same series, and kind of each deeply controversial in their own unique ways, but Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect Andromeda. Because, like, okay, so first off, Mass Effect Andromeda, I freely admit, has a lot of problems, especially, holy fucking Christ, on release. Oh my god, that was something. But I didn't play Mass Effect Andromeda till about 6 months or so after its release, and I got it for $5 off of Amazon. And I got about 80 hours out of it, and I had a great fucking time. I had a great time. The characters were, like, you know, charming and engaging. The world was interesting. I still would like to see that fleshed out more. The story was kind of but so have all of Mass Effect's, like, core plots, you know? So, like, and the combat's fucking phenomenal. I genuinely love the gunplay in that game. It's a lot of fun to, because, like, one of my favorite things in Mass Effect always has been to play Vanguard, get the shotgun, and then just, like, warp up to people and just, like, go completely fucking hog wild on them. It's so much fun. You just become this, like, unkillable mass of energy shields and fucking, like, buckshot. It's so fucking cool. And it gives that experience fantastically. I've played, like, I'm blanking on the exact name, but the bionic powers, I think is it, the magic, basically. Mm-hmm. I found those to be a lot of fun in this one. Soldier had a lot of, like, really fun tools and utilities. You could, like, create your own wall and shit. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. There's a lot to like in that game. But yeah, if I'd paid $60 for it and played it the way it was played at launch.
For those who might not remember, I played this game at launch. I went to my friend Jessica's house. She was super excited for it. We booted up the game, and, like, at points, like, our vehicles were clipping through mountains. The walk animations would, like, contort our legs backwards. The facial animations were just, like, unreal. It was like, you know those blooper reels that they used to play on, like, the DVDs for old DreamWorks movies? It was like watching that shit. But, like, when Ryan decided to go and get it, I would watch him play, and I'm like, oh shit, so that's what it's supposed to look like. Oh wow, this is actually really nice.
Yeah, because, like, I put about, like, 80 hours or so into it in total. I may put more in at some point. I wouldn't mind replaying it. But, like, and I never encountered a single serious glitch. Like, I encountered a couple weird animations, and I encountered some writing that I thought was flat out sort of bad. But, like, I mean, same with, again, basically any Mass Effect if you, like, look around hard enough. But, like, yeah, I sincerely enjoyed it. Like, I've been meaning to talk about it at length for a while. I've been meaning to talk about it so long. This was the original inspiration for that video I did like over a year ago about when we review games.
I don't know. I look at it and I'm still like, man, that doesn't look like that fun of a game. But also, I think you kind of benefited coming at it from like multiple patches to fix stuff that was busted,
like without question.
Because I saw like uncut streams, like not even like compilations, and I saw just like, wow, this fucking game is bugging out to fuck. And I think I'm fairly fair when it comes to games having like little minor things. Like I'm not too hypercritical about that. Jedi Fallen Order is really bad for like constant texture pop-ins during cutscenes, and it's like, if I was to like, you know, grade it on a review, I'd probably still like knock it for that. But I'm not gonna say it's a terrible game for that. It's just more like would be kind of nice if they fixed it. And I've talked to people recently, and it sounds like they kind of fixed that up a little bit with recent patches. So it's like, okay, that's good. But at the end of the day, it's like, does it still hold up even after those patches fix up the like glitchier bits?
Yeah, no, like, I definitely think so. Like, I'll put it this way. Mass Effect Andromeda isn't the best Mass Effect game. It is, however, kind of better than Mass Effect 1. And the reason I compare those two is because they're effectively seeking to do the same thing. They're trying to establish a universe that you are now going to reside in, kind of by implication, for at least a couple more games. You know, a lot of it is about setting up races, about setting up certain new characters who will be important long term, that kind of stuff. You know, basic world building, kind of like, again, Mass Effect 1 is. You go back and you play that game, a lot of the characters are kind of archetypes of their race because they sort of need it to be. But, you know, it still works. It still works for what it is. It just wasn't able to get as rich as it got down the line. And that, to me, is kind of the issue, is, like, a lot of people are comparing it to, like, Mass Effect 2, which benefited from, you know, being the second game in a series. So, like, it had more to kind of work with. It had more chances to kind of build off the premises that were laid out in the first one. And I think if we got an Andromeda 2, we would see something very similar to that happen.
So you're saying you prefer Force Awakens over New Hope?
How dare you? What was it? Freaking...
Just Cullan quietly sobbing in the background just encapsulates how I feel anytime Star Wars is brought up now.
Yeah. Too fucking real. Hey, Cullan, why don't you give me your complete and uncensored opinion about The Last Jedi in excruciating detail?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the
We're not going to do this.
No,
we're not going to do this.
I'm going to do this.
I'm totally down.
Here we go.
I'm totally down to have this podcast. It will catch fire if we do it here.
All right, 1 minute less. Here we go. People were upset. They didn't think it was very good, but they have to realize that they were super faithful to the original, I guess, now 9 movies. And the way they were original was because it was just like the other movies in the fact that it fucking sucks. Every Star Wars movie is garbage. They're all bad. They're all poorly written. They're not good. Stop. Watch any other movie. Watch it, please. I beg you. Any other movie. Okay. I'm done.
I'm gonna go watch Mandalorian now.
Okay, Mandalorian's very good. Mandalorian is yeah. That one's good.
Terrible. Anyways, but yeah, I don't want to defend Andromeda like too much because I'm not here to say it's like some unsung masterpiece or anything. And like I find the Force Awakens and New Hope comparison to fall apart because Mass Effect 1 is not that classic. As a matter of fact, I don't think it holds up exceptionally well. Like, it's not bad by any measure, but like, oof, that gunplay is fucking bad. And man, that Mako sure is not fun to drive a lot of the time.
And a lot of the missions you find on other planets are the same building that you're walking through, just shooting dudes.
like those I'm willing to give a bit more of a break because they were clearly like bonus content and they fulfill their purpose of making it feel like, you know, you're basically a Star Trek captain, like just beaming down and like exploring like a situation on the planet that will be resolved in like 20 minutes. Like I can accept that for what it is. It's just it's like I said, a lot of the stuff like was very bare bones compared to what it would become. And kind of on a related note, a game that I will stan endlessly for, fucking Mass Effect 3 rules. Like, that game is phenomenal. I still think that game is absolutely stellar. It does have one of the worst endings of anything ever.
Honestly, that is 3's biggest problem, is it just has like a shit ending, but the rest of it's pretty good. It literally just stumbles at the like the
rest of it's like fucking amazing. I love every section of it, and it has some of my favorite levels of any game ever. Tuchungus is so goddamn good that I don't know if I will ever be able to like fully articulate it outside of just like quoting Morden lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but I just need to let you know that like while I do also love those levels, I thought you said the Chungus, and I had like a violent physical reaction.
Tuchungus.
Stop!
Ryan really loves the Chungus.
The home of the Krangens.
No!
Holy shit, dude.
Are you gonna make me draw that?
Probably.
Oh, god damn it.
It's 3 a.m. Why the fuck did I make this?
Because, like, everyone fucking hated that game on release because the ending was so bad. And I'm not necessarily going to say that that's wrong. But at the same time, like, fucking, again, like, I think of, like, the actual, like, gameplay and levels and all of that. Everything up until that moment.
It's literally it fumbles at the 10-yard line.
It
like,
literally does.
Immediately right before.
But even then, like, and admittedly, I don't want to encourage this or use this to defend it too much, because EA is still, as far as I know, charging significantly extra for it. So it's basically them selling a solution to a problem they caused. But that being said, the Citadel DLC is a perfect capstone to the series. It's so fucking good. It's so much fucking fun. You get to hang out with everyone. There's a full storyline that plays out that, while kind of dumb and while kind of cheeky, is still, like, well, better than what we got. Like...
Well, Ryan, so you came to 3 after, like, kind of the shit show happened,
well,
right?
after.
Like, did you go in knowing that, like, the ending was going to be, like, off, and you're like, okay, let's just see what it's going to be?
I came in knowing everything about the ending. I came in knowing basically everything about the game. I was honestly just kind of playing through it. In a lot of ways, the way I, like, played through Devil May Cry 2, where I was like, okay, let's fucking get this over with, you know... And I was just fucking, like, sideswiped at every turn. I was just impressed with basically every choice they made up until the last 5 minutes.
It really shows how much a ending can just, like, ruin the legacy of something, even if it's still, like, quality. The immediate thing I think of, just because it's fairly recently, is Game of Thrones, because like Game of Thrones,
Christ.
like it started to like wobble a little bit in those later seasons, but it still was good TV. Like it was undeniably still good TV. But just that last season just really aggressively fumbles it. But I was recently going back and rewatching the first like few seasons. It's like this is still some of the best TV like ever. This is still amazing television. It just sours it knowing where it ends, and I think that's kind of how it's like going back and replaying any of the Mass Effects from the first trilogy. Is just like you kind of know that the ending kind of fumbles it, and it's just like it's a little bit of a bummer.
Like, it's a little bit of a bummer, but I would argue that Game of Thrones ending is significantly worse than Mass Effects. Because Mass Effects is just kind of dumb and comes out of nowhere. But again, there's also DLCs that more or less replace the ending. And
The ending of Mass Effect doesn't like entirely fuck all its characters.
Yeah, like there's still a lot of good to be found, and given that the ending is more, it's honestly more anticlimactic. Like if we're actually looking at the big problems with it, the big problems with it is that it doesn't meaningfully like deal with the conflicts that have been set up until that point, both literally in terms of the Reapers and the themes in terms of like basically any one of the fucking topics it was talking about, just any goddamn one of them. And like it just kind of does nothing and stops without commenting where it really should, and it's very weird and awkward. And but like even that, I don't know, looking at it now and taking it for what it is, I don't think it's that bad. It's not good by any means, but it's not that bad because, again, like we have Game of Thrones on hand. It's a great comparison. That is a bad fucking ending. That is a really bad ending. That upends everyone and everything and renders basically everything that built up to it kind of pointless.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas this, I think it's just more like people wanted some final answers, and it didn't really give them at the time. But, you know, I'm happy with how it turned out eventually, even if fucking EA still needs to release a Game of the Year edition for it, like, or for any of these things. How are we about to get to the PS5 and we still don't have Mass Effect ported to the new gen?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that.
What the hell is going on, EA? Come on, this is the one thing I want to give you money for.
It's not in there.
I don't know, but are we ever gonna get like ports of all the FIFA games though?
Shut up.
We do every year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's really nice that they like port that game over every year just so people get it.
We're not even joking. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing about FIFA games. The FIFA games don't even like encapsulate the most fun part about FIFA, which
The
is
riots.
everyone. Yeah, which is everyone going fucking feral.
I was
and
joking.
becoming like a high key nationalist for all of like 4 days and just slaughtering the shit out of each other. People become the worst at FIFA.
It doesn't need to capture that because we already have Call of Duty to capture that.
Oh.
Well, I was gonna say when are they gonna finally add like a riot management sim mechanic into that game?
Management.
I wish that would be too interesting. God, what I would give for actual competitions actual competition in like sports games. I miss when we could have like really out there sports titles that like played with mechanics and style and were fun.
Well, we do have one cool sports game. Well, two cool sports game. There was the sports game that was made by Pyre. Pyre is a good sports game. And then we have the one about cars that play soccer.
Rocket League.
Yes, Those are the only two sports games that matter.
I miss Tony Hawk.
What about Mario Tennis and Mario Soccer and Mario Streets?
Yeah, I was going to say Mario Tennis. Ryu from Streets. Mario from Streets.
You see, Mario Tennis, like, the only reason Mario Tennis is worth it is because it gets to put Waluigi in booty shorts.
It's true. But yeah, I think that kind of... that's more or less my take on Mass Effect. I think y'all get the idea. But yeah. Cullan, you want to rattle off that list again?
Yeah, I'll rattle off the remaining 3. Let's see if... Okay, I remember now. It was Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, and then Zelda Ocarina of Time.
I
really want to hear about Ocarina.
That's valid. Alright. Give me your Zelda opinions.
So, this one isn't that I liked more that I played after it came out. It's more I'm glad that I played it after it came out, because once again, wasn't alive. But also, I feel as though, and, you know, not to once again be a generic reviewer YouTuber, but I'm glad that I can look at it without nostalgia-tinted goggles, because I kind of think that game is a hot garbage fire. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, like, cause like I also didn't play it until like way after the fact, and like, I can see it. I can see what it is, what it meant, and why it was the way it was for when it was released. And looking at it in context, it is a shockingly impressive game. There is a lot there that is absolutely stunning in terms of like just the fact that it was even possible at the time, like or the fact that they got it so right on the first try, you know, it because like we're not necessarily comparing Ocarina of Time to like Twilight Princess here. It's more we're comparing Ocarina of Time to like Bubsy 3D, like fucking just other things released in that era, in that time frame. And it's unbelievable looking at it through that lens. But like, yeah, it's a rough play. It's a rough play.
I
in a
mean,
lot
do
of
we
ways now.
do we need to turn on the sequelitis video?
Oh boy.
Oh god.
It's like I completely understand that it was amazing for the time, but now it's just like if you think to yourself like I want to play some game state and you sit down and decide to play Ocarina of Time today instead of basically any other game, you're a little bit of a borderline sociopath, I think. Just a tad, so.
Oh my god.
It's hard to play that game without the nostalgia goggles.
Exact, yeah. Cuz it's
Like you kind of have to go in like having that feeling. I don't think anyone born after I think like probably around the GameCube era could honestly go back and just replay that and go, "Oh yeah, this is great," cuz it's really rough around the edges. It doesn't really well convey what you're supposed to be doing a lot of the time. There's like a lot of just like rough edges to the game. And again, we already said it. I hope people understand this isn't us just like shitting on it just for the sake of it. It was still a great stepping stone of its time. It's just like most things, it aged pretty bad. And this is where I do kind of agree with Aaron, where it's like you can actually kind of go back to Link to the Past, and that actually holds up pretty well still.
Yeah.
But not, and yeah, the Ocarina doesn't as well.
Ocarina needs a proper remake, not like on a fucking new 3DS or some shit. I'm talking like on the Switch. If we can remake Link's Awakening, we can remake Ocarina.
I'd be down.
I love Ocarina because that was kind of my intro into possibly like my favorite series ever. But yeah, it has some serious issues with camera and things that just didn't age very well. Even if it did give me a thing for guys who can ride horses.
I mean, you could make the hard argument that Breath of the Wild kind of fills that niche, or kind of fills that
But I
need.
don't like Breath of the Wild.
Like, I think the core of Ocarina is good. I think the, like, meat of it that's there is good. The issue is just, like, all of the stuff around it. Like, the controls, the N64 controller alone makes it an absolute nightmare to engage with. And just all stuff like Z-targeting still being, like, really immature, you know? Like, a lot of stuff that I genuinely think... like a serious HD remake could address, like something on the scale of like, I mean, what happened to Wind Waker, like something on that level, that I think could fix a lot of the like bigger problems the game has. Because I think like the world is cool, I think the stories it tells are cool, the side quests are fun, the tone is on point, and it definitely has one of the best soundtracks ever made. It's just like, it's all obfuscated behind these like 90s like early 3D mechanics and controls, and it just it's hard to really sink into it these days if you're spoiled by like, you know, things that function properly.
Yeah. It's just coming at it, you know, anytime after it came out, it's hard to justify playing it when you know you could spend your time on something that's just so much better.
Wind Waker.
Yeah. And like it's, I guess the way
Wind Waker is better.
Yeah, it is. Well, yes. But I guess the way I look at it is like Ocarina of Time is like, oh god, this is going to be the stupidest analogy. Ocarina of Time is like the Shakespeare of video games. Super cool when it came out, is the fundamentals for now, the way everything is, but god, it's so boring now.
Jade's about to kill you.
I'm about to kill you. You better be meaning, like, if you don't mean Shakespeare's dramas, and, like, you're dissing on Shakespeare's comedies, I will shit on your mattress right fucking now.
I mean mostly the dramas, like, you know, because they're boring, especially Romeo and Juliet.
Hamlet
but also
slaps.
That's yeah, Hamlet's good still. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but, like, nobody likes King Lear.
Macbeth is cool.
Macbeth, Hamlet, good. Romeo and Juliet, bad. Though also super.
Well, he's not. I like Shakespeare definitely has some bad like plays like in his canon without question. What was the one we were in?
Cymbeline.
Cymbeline
fucking
sucks
sucks
ass. That's a terrible fucking play. Fucking garbage. He should be ashamed that he wrote that. Fucking awful.
This is why you don't get into theater, kids.
And also the lack of money.
Oh.
Now it's sad.
Oh.
So, Cullan, you were saying at the start of your games, 3 of them were like you were happy you came out to them after, and 1 you're happy that you just didn't get involved with just because you didn't like it. Is that one Ocarina?
Yeah, I'm happy that I was able to look at it without nostalgia goggles and realize how far we've come. The rest of them, I enjoyed more because I came after.
Okay, that's entirely fair. Like, I think that is what's kind of cool about like going back to games without the nostalgia goggles is you get to have a bit more of a, God, I really don't want to use the term objective, but a little bit less biased. I guess I can't think of a better term.
There's less emotional involvement because you have fewer expectations.
Yes, thank you. That's the best word. That's the best phrasing to do it. There's less emotional attachment to it, so you can look at it from a different perspective. Because there's probably someone that's gonna hear this and be like, fucking Ocarina of Time's like the best game ever, what are you fucking talking about? And it's like, like it's a good game, like especially for its time, but just like there's so many games that came after it that improved on what it was doing.
And if you love it, of course no one here's trying to take that away from you. I think that should go without saying. Love what you love. It's just how it lands for us, because like, I mean, again, Jade is right here. Jade
I fucking
loves
love Ocarina of Time, and like I recognize why it's important. I think it's one of the most important games ever made. But also it just has not aged great.
But you know what? It hasn't aged as badly as Mass Effect 1.
I think even Cullan can agree that fucking title screen is still fucking great,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
It slaps.
Yeah,
I fucking made a video about that title screen way back in the day. Don't watch it.
Zelda has always been thematically and musically on point from day one.
Yeah. What was it about GTA 5 that made you excited to come at it later?
So I started playing GTA 5 last month for the first time ever. I've been playing with some friends. We've just been doing the online heists and stuff. And it's more just because around, I guess, the hype of GTA and as it's come out, I've kind of hate the culture around it. It's always been like, oh, you can talk to prostitutes and do crime, and our characters say the N-word, and it just came off as really over-the-top edgy and stuff. And I'm glad that I'm able to come at it when it's no longer the forefront of, like, YouTube. It's no longer the forefront of discussion around violence in games and stuff. And I can just enjoy driving around with friends because it has a lot of really solid stuff in it, especially as a multiplayer game. There's so much versatility, and also it's just really fun. It's nice to have a game that I can sit down and play with friends because it's kind of hard to find games like that where you just... Because, I mean, for a while, the go-to game to play with people was Overwatch, but the problem with that was that you would have to play a shitty game in order to play with your friends. But now we have a decent game that I can play with my friends, which is nice.
That's... As someone who put, 300 hours into Overwatch, yeah, that's right. That game really did not pan out in the long run.
Yeah.
But, is GTA 5 the first GTA game you've ever played?
In depth. Yeah, I've dabbled with San Andreas, and by dabbled I mean 4 or 5 hours at most, but
San Andreas is so fucking good. Once you really get into that game and start getting through the main story, fucking that game is... I still occasionally replay it. I still think that game has the best car physics, generally speaking, because they're fast and agile, but still have weight, unlike the ones that came after, where they just felt like you were controlling these, like... I don't know, it just always felt so clumsy.
Yeah.
Like,
Just call
5 was better, though. I'm mainly comparing it to 4. But what was it? Yeah, no, San Andreas, like, has a lot of, like, really surprisingly brutal narrative themes.
I was about to say, just call San Andreas what it is, which is LA Riot Simulator.
Yeah, no, that's literally it. The whole game is effectively a, like, super in-depth first-person experience explaining why the LA riots happened in the 90s. It's all about systemic racism and how police, like, abuse their power. It's fucking unreal.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's also another thing is why I'm glad I came to it afterwards, is because when these games came out, they were just kind of seen as, like, schlock, I guess. Seen as, like, I mean, at 5 kind of is that. I mean, the story, especially when it starts out, is...
5 feels like the schlockiest. It feels like the most overly self-aware. Because, like, that's always been a like, part of the Grand Theft Auto, like, DNA, is it lives in a satire universe.
Yeah.
And, like, that can be really cool. That can be really fun. But, like, I don't know. Personally, like, with 4 and 5, I found it generally went a bit too far in ways that just felt off. Whereas I feel like San Andreas generally found its balance more.
Yeah. Like, it's just... It feels stupid to have a function in the game, you know, be like making it rain on a stripper, because it's not a commentary or anything. It's just, hey, look, funny boobies, woo.
Yeah.
But I do think the game has the potential to create extremely fun situations and times that you can have with friends if you get past the other parts. And also, I'm just glad that I didn't have to deal with people being like, well, that game makes people violent.
Yeah, no, Fox, do you remember Jack Thompson?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The fucking war flashbacks, dude. I'm glad he's disbarred. What a piece of shit.
I'm glad there's still that we've stopped blaming video games for violence. That never happens anymore now that Jack Thompson is gone.
Never once.
So tired.
But yeah, to I guess summarize, I guess not even to end off on, maybe to maybe wrap this up in a neat bow. What about the flip side? What are maybe games that you guys came to that you're happy you played it like right at launch?
Undertale.
That you're like glad you were kind of part of like the zeitgeist.
Undertale.
Probably.
Undertale.
Oh yeah, no, Undertale's a really good example. That was a time and place. Fucking Nier Automata is the obvious answer, I feel. But honestly, I would probably say in a lot of ways Guitar Hero, because like it was really cool in the mid-thousands being extremely good at Guitar Hero and knowing you could go basically anywhere in the world and find Guitar Hero and just flex on everyone and no one would care, but you're 15 so you don't care.
Yeah.
And you're just fucking cool.
2 games, because I could talk about Undertale before it derailed into, like, the weird sexual sans bone zone 5 billion AUs.
What do you mean derailed? That was the intent. That's part of the text.
How dare you? But, like, it's impossible to look up sans now on any platform and not find something just kind of completely, like, separate from the actual game. It's almost like people forgot what, like, the actual base game or lost interest. But that aside, I was really happy to get into Doki Doki Literature Club at the time of release. I went and I played it completely blind, spoiler-free. And I felt that really heightened the experience for me and made it really special. And it also meant I got to be one of the first to get a word out on the subject. I collaborated with our friend Soul, if you remember him.
Yeah.
On his video on it, helped him write that script. And, like, as a sucker for, like, romantic visual novels, it was really fun for me to kind of see that get deconstructed and be able to absorb that and come up with my own thoughts before YouTube blew up with like 5 billion videos about what you're supposed to think about it, TM. I got to be that person that made the video on what you're supposed to think about it, TM, which is great. But also, like, I'm not sure how much but a trend that happens long after a really good game comes out that I've noticed is that we then get into the conspiracy zone. And that's when, like, the content is completely exhausted and everybody is focused on, like, stripping everything they can out of the game to the point where it stops. Exactly. To the point where, like, the original game stops meaning anything, and you have people yelling at each other over, like, files that deleted files that exist in, like, part of the code.
Is Link dead?
And it's just like, calm down. Just enjoy the game for what it was.
Gamers are really respectful, and they use every piece of the game. They don't let any piece go to waste.
Shut up.
But yeah, I get what you mean, Jade. I think there is that I think it's kind of fascinating in its own way, despite it being kind of annoying too, is just how after a certain point, like, stuff from the game becomes so self-removed from it. Like, fucking, how many people have played Undertale versus how many people know the first fucking notes of Megalovania the instant they hear it, you know?
Gonna play him right now.
Yeah.
As a Homestuck,
Oh
I
my-
was into Megalovania before all of you
Oh
fucking
my
bitches.
god, are you gonna be a fucking hipster
There
about
is-
Homestuck?
Yes!
There is no sentence in the world that you can start worse than "as a Homestuck."
Yeah, that
There is no possible
all
string
your
of
rights
words.
all your rights are
it's
all-
got the exact same energy as I'm a war criminal.
all your rights are immediately taken away from you.
Just whatever follows. I don't care if the next words out of your mouth are the biggest truth in life. You've found the meaning. You have created the Bible 2 that we have all been waiting for. No one's going to fucking buy it.
As a Homestuck, I found the answer to life.
As a Homestuck, I've cured cancer, but nobody wants it because it's Fago.
It's a
Turns
sentence.
my skin gray.
It's a sentence that almost triggers a fight or flight, but there's no flight. It's only fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you just pull out a gun.
Like you said that, and I felt myself.
Or whatever they used to fight in Homestuck.
I raised my hands to throw hands with my monitor.
Dick sword.
To get away
Sword,
from
but it's spelled-
that embarrassment,
To run away from
to-
Homestuck at full
to-
fucking speed.
to save Jade, I'll bring up two. One that I think is it is so encapsulated in its time that you just can't get it back is PT. Because I actually
that's
got to
lost
play
forever in
PT
every
when it was still like a new thing. It wasn't like this like treasured thing that like, oh my god, like you have a PS4 with the PT on it. Oh my god, I'll give you $10,000 for it. And it's like, I think there is some preservation element to wanting to keep that around to a certain degree. But now it's become like overly treasured to, an absurdist level.
It reminds me of when Flappy Bird got pulled off of like iPhone, like the iPhone store.
Yeah.
And then suddenly iPhones with Flappy Bird installed were going for like $2,000 a pop.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to say treasure, but I do appreciate that I was able to play the game when it was still like a new thing, and it was just the like, oh, have you played that like teaser thing, PT? Like I actually got to experience it before it got to me that it was a teaser for like a Silent Hills game, and it was just like a thing. Yeah, I didn't have it like utterly wrecked for me. And then I got to experience it with friends, which was like a really cool little thing where we played in a little room, and yeah, it was like a fun little experience that like just we'll never get again. And it's just this little capsule of time. Like how many months was that where it was still like possible to even download it? Like 5 months or so, maybe.
Yeah, like
Not even.
five, and it was like the first like 2 weeks that like, or it was like the first 5 months that the PS4 was even out. So
Yeah.
the odds of you having one were like fucking dirt.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I feel like the amount of people that actually got to experience that is like very limited, and it's not to be like elitist, but there is like something special about being able to say like, yes, I got to play that when it was still like the fresh thing. And the other example and it's kind of why I wanted to bring up the like flip side, because we talked a lot about like, oh, the fucking fans kind of made this insufferable to deal with, is there's a few games, and I can't think of anything later than last year, but like, you know, Fire Emblem Three Houses, to bring it back around, is like, I'm really happy I got to play that when it was initially released, because fucking seeing like fan reception and like people drawing comics and, you know, just memes and shit, like it was actually really fun to play it kind of with people in that regard, and seeing people's own headcanons.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like, because like I know we were just shitting on Overwatch 5 minutes ago, and rightfully so. It's not an exceptionally good game once you boil it down. But like that window of the first few months being part of that fandom, it was a lot of fucking fun. There was a lot of cool stuff to see at any given point of time, and everyone was very excited about the potential of all of it. And then fucking Blizzard did some human rights abuses.
Yeah, before all that.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, that's the sound of human rights abuse. Womp womp.
But yeah, I
Gee,
rights
thanks for
violation
making me
that
look like the asshole.
There's only one human rights violation that's okay.
but yeah, I bring that up just to
Can I
like,
expand upon that so I don't sound bad?
Yeah.
I was going to make fun of Homestucks. The punchline is very important. I need to say that was pointed at Homestucks, because if you just leave it on that, I do sound like a horrible racist, and I would like to avoid that.
you just hate Homestucks, which is completely fair.
Exact. Yes.
That's fair.
But yeah,
Christ,
to kind of like end off on that, like while this kind of like the main topic was kind of just like, oh my god, sometimes it's awful to be like a part of it when it's like new. You kind of like to come at things after like the heat's died down. It's also really cool to experience things when it's still fresh. Like that's why I kind of sympathize with people that can't afford games when they're new, because they don't get to be a part of the zeitgeist, because that's kind of part of experiencing media.
Yeah, like I'm someone who like I almost never buy games like on release. I almost always wait, just because I like having money. But like, what was it? As a result, a lot of the time I get to come to it, kind of like I said before, with fewer expectations, with fewer demands. If I pay $60 for something, I'm going to want $60 out of it. Like I'm like, I don't want to get into the whole discussion of like game value, blah 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 blah. But like, you know, I want to feel like I spent $60 rightly. You know, I think that's pretty reasonable regardless of what your standards for art are. And like, as a result, I tend to come to stuff way later than most people, but also kind of as a result, I am able to be kind of like a bit more chill about it, effectively. You know, I am able to just treat it casually as, oh, I remember this, let's see what it is.
Meanwhile, I'm like, here's my $70 for the new Dragon Ball game. I'm sure this is going to be different than all the other Dragon Ball games.
I'm curious about it. I want to see reviews first.
That's entirely fair.
Cullan, what's your favorite Dragon Ball game?
I like the one where they get the Dragon Balls and then they summon.
That
the
is a good
dragon,
one.
And they're like, dragon.
That's a very good one.
Bring back Dead. No, my favorite Dragon Ball game is the live-action movie.
That's valid.
That's valid. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, that I want to say this since it's probably the only time it's ever going to come up. Don't get me wrong. Dragon movie, complete dog shit. The live-action Dragon Ball movie, total dog shit. At the same time, it had the budget of like, I think it was only like $10 million, which is fucking peanuts for that. So like, I don't necessarily blame...
I mean, does that excuse a bad script?
It doesn't excuse the bad script, but it also begs the question of, like, I mean, how much did anyone even really have control of anything in terms of the script, in terms of, like, any aspect of that? I'm not defending it. I'm just saying I have seen worse movies that were more expensive.
Like Star Wars.
So Ryan is defending the Dragon Ball movie, confirmed.
God damn it.
That's like second to defending the live-action Chun-Li movie.
The what?
That one's worse just because it's more boring. At least Dragon Ball Evolution is, like, occasionally fun in the ways it's bad, and it occasionally stumbles into, like, a cool visual or idea.
I think it was really cool that he does a grind on a car with his like just the top of his head. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that sucked. And Piccolo also sucked. Piccolo was fucking... Whoever thought of that should have been fucking fired out of a cannon into the sun. Hi.
So is that it?
None of us have anything to add upon that point. It's just a bad movie.
I feel like we're coming to the end here. I feel like we're getting ready to wrap up.
Yeah, we're on Dragon Ball Evolution hot takes. I think we're kind of running out of steam at this point.
Completely removed from our original subject.
Yeah, you love listening to a podcast that just states a movie was bad that everyone has just unanimously agreed on that is bad.
That's why I defended it a little.
Exactly.
Gotta make this shit interesting, dog.
Yeah.
So, Cullan, to I guess finally wrap it all up, where can people find you?
Well, geez, what do I do? I guess you can find me at my YouTube channel. It is my name, Cullan, spelled Cullan, and then a period at the end because I'm pretentious. Or you can follow me on Twitter at UndeadCullan.
I will have links for those below.
Radical.
And yeah, I think that just about covers it. Unless anyone else wants to pop off, does anyone have any, like... Anyone want to run defense on the last Avatar, last Airbender?
No, nobody wants to climb that spike.
All right. Then, yeah, probably wrap it up here. All right. This has been Ryan.
This is Jade.
This is Fox.
I'm Cullan.
Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. Peace.